Bro, I am so tired of Modern Warfare and Call of Duty. I'm literally counting down the days until the new Battlefield comes out. Bro, I've had such a craving to play Battlefield, I've literally almost played Ground War. But like, I'm sorry, if you actually play Ground War, you need to be eradicated from this earth immediately. It's not even a Walmart Battlefield. It's literally like a convenience store Battlefield. That was way more funny in my head. Anyways, let's get into the actual story today. I know all of you read the title of this video like, cheating on every test? There's no way he cheated on every test. And yeah, I didn't cheat on every single test. Like, I never cheated on a history test because I actually do have more than 3 brain cells in my brain. But the 2 classes that I cheated on were chemistry and calculus. And there's probably someone watching this that just got like shipped from Korea and is like, bro, calculus is so easy. A chimp could have passed that class. Listen, I thought about doing an Asian accent right there, but I figured it'd be too much. And here come all the comments. Bro, you can't say that Asians are good at math. That's like racist, bro. Listen, I understand that there's bad stereotypes out there that you just shouldn't say. Oh, what the fuck? That's an enemy? But come on, you shouldn't have like 300 pink-haired teenage girls showing up with pitchforks and torches every time you say a stereotype. Like, for example, white men can't jump. It's a true stereotype. I know because I've played basketball and have had a 6'5" black man jump over me, shove his balls in my face, and dunk on me. But let's get back to me cheating on these 2 classes. So when I say I cheated in these 2 classes, I mean I cheated on every single test, homework assignment, classwork problem. Like, it didn't matter if the question was 2 + 2, I still found a way to cheat. But the ways I cheated were some of the most creative fucking things you've ever heard of in your entire life. Like, I'm talking Leonardo da Vinci level creativity. Like, most people after they cheat on a test are like, oh my god, I feel so bad. I shouldn't have done that. That is so not me. I feel so guilty. But after I finish these tests, I would feel proud of myself. I'd be like, damn, bro, you're revolutionizing the game out here. No one has ever thought of this but you. But in order to understand how I was basically the Albert Einstein of cheating, I gotta talk about my calculus class first. So in a previous video, I already talked about how I hated my chemistry teacher at this time, but I also hated my calculus teacher just as much as I hated my chemistry teacher. But the only problem was I didn't really have a reason to hate my calculus teacher. I mean, seriously, she was one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. Like, ridiculously nice. Like, seriously, if I went up to her and was like, excuse me, Miss Wynn? That's her name, by the way. Miss Wynn, can I please have a $300,000 loan so I can buy a house? I'm pretty sure she would have looked at me and been like, oh, of course you can. Like, this teacher was like 5'1" max, probably weighed like 80 pounds, and looked exactly like the stereotypical Asian grandma, even though she was like 30 years old. And this is so off topic, but Asian grandmas are the nicest people in the entire world. And so you might be wondering how I could possibly hate someone that's so nice. Like, how could I possibly hate an Asian grandma? Well, you see, I do a couple things better than anyone else in the entire planet. And one of those things is I can find a reason to hate any person on the entire planet. I don't give a fuck if they went into burning buildings their whole lives to rescue innocent babies. I would still be standing outside that house like, oh wow, look at the hero over here. I wish I was cool enough to rescue innocent babies. I don't know what's wrong with me, bro. I'm fucked up. And so while everyone was over here like, oh my god, Miss Wynn is the nicest teacher ever. I love her. I was over here like, nah, I fucking hate that bitch. She's way too nice. I'm not even joking. My whole reasoning why I hated her was because she was too nice. And before all of you start commenting, bro, that doesn't even make any sense. How could you hate someone for being too nice? I actually kind of had a point. You see, she was too nice for her own good. Like, literally every single day while she was trying to teach, I would be on my phone watching YouTube. I'm talking like Joe Rogan, FaZe Jev, all that stuff. And some days I would forget my AirPods, and instead of just not watching YouTube, I would literally just watch YouTube with the volume coming out of my iPhone speakers. And so while this 30-year-old Asian grandma was trying to teach us how to solve the square root of a negative number, she would also have to talk over Joe Rogan talking about how he did DMT in Mesopotamia with some like aliens. And I know some of you are watching this right now like, that's not cool, bro. You're taking advantage of her niceness. Listen, I know I am, okay? I know I'm an asshole, but I just didn't respect her for 2 reasons. Number 1, I just don't respect teachers. Listen, my mom's a teacher, she's included. I don't respect her. And number 2, she just couldn't stand up for herself. Like, usually, even when I would just look at my phone for like half a millisecond, my teachers would be like, excuse me, mister, if you don't put that phone away, I'm gonna grab a machete and chop off your entire family into little pieces. And I mean, Miss Wynn wouldn't even say anything when I was playing these videos out loud. And one more thing you guys have to understand about me is that I BS'd my entire way through high school. Like, my motto is work smarter, not harder. Like, I would always do the bare minimum I could possibly do to have an A. Like, most of the kids in my calculus class came into the class and were like, my goal for this class is to do every assignment assignment and study for at least 3 hours every day. But my goal was and has always been to find a way to give a maximum of 10% effort and still somehow find a way to get an A in the class. And usually I can do this pretty easily, and I cannot try at all in the class, and when the test finally does come, I can usually get an A on the test. But here's the problem. Calculus was not one of those classes for me. And when Miss Wynn handed me that first test, I looked down at it, and that shit was not in English. Like, I could maybe do one problem on that entire test. And right then and there, I had to make a decision. I was either gonna have to give at least 50% effort throughout this entire class, or I was gonna have to find a way to cheat. And I think you guys know which one I chose. I mean, there's no way I could possibly give like 50% effort in a class. Like, my body would probably end up breaking down and dying if I did that. And so right then and there, I committed to cheating throughout this entire class. And so as I was looking at this test and had no idea how to do any of the questions on it, I immediately just got up, went straight to the door, and just left the classroom. And I came back like 20 minutes later, and I opened the door, and I was like, Miss Wynn, I threw up. Can I finish my test another time? I used that excuse probably 100 times throughout high school. And being the nice person she was, she looked at me and was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Of course, here's a note for the nurse. And so I went to the nurse, and the nurse told me to go home, and I was like, no, I don't want to go home. I want to stay at school. Do I have to leave? Complete cap. And so not only did I get to get out of a test, but I also got to leave early that day. And so I went home and I started thinking how I could possibly cheat on this test. And I went through like hundreds and hundreds of different options and possibilities. But I finally came up with one that was completely foolproof. So every day before a test, Miss Wynn would always give us this packet with like 500 questions. And from those 500 questions in the packet, Miss Wynn would take like 10 of those questions and she'd make that our test. And so no one actually did all of the questions because there was like 500 of them, and it would literally take like 20 hours. Like, even the absolute try-hard kids who eat, breathe, and sleep school, and their parents beat them every time they get like a 99% on a test, didn't do all the problems. And Miss Wynn used to always joke around and be like, well, if you do the whole packet, you'll get 100% on the test. Like, she never really thought that someone was actually gonna do the entire packet. Well, you see, Miss Wynn underestimated how far I'm willing to go to cheat on the test. No, I did not do all those 500 questions, but every time she gave us a packet, at the very end, there would be the answer to every single question on that packet. And so what I did was, I took a picture of the answer to every single question on that entire packet. So I had like 500 pictures of straight math problems on my phone. And then I organized all of those pictures into albums. So like every question that started with the number 2, I would put in one photo album. And every question that started with the number 4, I would put in a separate photo album. And I would do the same thing with every other number. So when I took the test, all I had to do was look at the question I was doing, find the first number in that question, and then go on my phone, find the photo album that contained that number, and then find the answer to that question. Pretty fucking genius if you ask me. And I know some of you are like, how did you go on your phone during the test? Didn't she catch you? And you're right, she caught me multiple times, but she was too nice to say anything. I would literally have my phone straight out on my desk, and she would walk by me and be like, is everything okay here? And every time I would look at her and I'd be like, yeah, perfect, Miss Wynn. I just forgot my calculator at home today. That's why I'm using my phone. Yeah, I need to be eradicated from this earth. I decided to play Ground War. And every time she'd be like, oh, that's okay. Just remember it next time. And so I did this throughout the entire year. And literally every time I took a test, I'd be like, oh my god, Miss Wynn, I forgot my calculator again. Can you believe how stupid I am, Miss Wynn? And somehow this excuse worked the entire year all the way up until the final. And when we were supposed to take the final, I came into class ready with all of the answers in their specific categories on my phone, when all of a sudden Miss Wynn called me over to her desk, which was weird because she never did that before. But what she did next was one of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me. She called me over and was like, I know you keep forgetting your calculator, but I wanted you to have one for the final. So I went out and I bought you one. Here you go. I mean, it was so nice. It was like I was a starving child and she just handed me food. And most people would have been like, oh my god, thank you so much. That's the nicest thing ever. And they would have sat down and had like a revelation and would have been like, you know what? I'm not gonna cheat on this test. I'm done with cheating. Miss Wynn has ended my ways with her kindness. I'm not like most people. I sat down and cheated on the entire final. Didn't even turn the goddamn calculator on. And when I turned that test in, I went up to Miss Wynn and I was like, thank you so much for the calculator, Miss Wynn. It helped me so much on this test. And I mean, I ended up taking that calculator home and I still haven't turned it on. I need to go to therapy, bro. There's so many things wrong with me. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Sorry this video took so long for me to put out. I was a little sick this week. But if you enjoyed, please subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.